I think I did this last time. Hey, it says we're live. And
I'm looking at the YouTube page. Let's see.
Yeah. Hey, there we go. Of course, it picked up right as I was wiping my nose.
Nice.
So it's gonna be. Dude, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to do this more on a more professional. Hey, Tim's in there. Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah. Hey, there we go. Of course, it picked up right as I was. Yeah. All right. Then I had feedback.
Well, yeah, I just muted my YouTube page.
Yeah. Same here. All right. So, hello there, and welcome to Gung-Ho Geeks Book Club, podcast number 2. Although the title says 3 because, well, the second one couldn't be done in time or in a full team mode.
Well, it was done. You wrote it.
Yeah. No, it's on the website for people to gawk at, and we talked about it in the group as well. So I think we have that covered. I'm sad we let it go because I could have ranted there about that book for a long time. We might have to go back to it, but I hear we have rants lined up for tonight. I'm currently joined by Scott Rums from Dverse.
Hello, hi everybody.
Scott and I have been we've known each other for, is it a few months now?
Yeah, like about 6. We met in the group that shall not be named.
Yes, indeed. Oh, should we drop this in there?
I don't know.
People have fun. Let's have fun with that. Seeing as, there's how many? 4 people watching, they're probably all friends.
Yeah. I know one's Tim. 2 of them are me and you, to make sure that you didn't screw up the stream.
Definitely. Sure, Jolene's watching as well. Oh yeah, so there should have been
watching.
She will be. She promised she'll pop in with comments until she manages to get home and hopefully jump in live as well. Because there were supposed to be 3 of us here to begin with, which is me, Scott, and Jolene. But time zones suck, and I suck at communicating time zones.
You and Facebook both.
Yeah. Let's see here. This is turning out to be a very professional stream. So, we're here to talk about the book we just finished reading. In my case, a few days ago, I think it was Monday, which is Robert McCammon's Swan Song. And it was a very interesting endeavor. And if Jolene manages to pop in, we're gonna have the full spectrum of opinions because I was very much in the middle about it. I'm sort of leaning on bad, and I do think it was one of the worst choices for the book club so far. Which is, I mean, we only had like 3, so I don't think it's worse than Firefly though.
Well, how long was Firefly?
314 pages or something.
So did that train wreck? It ended pretty soon. Like, how much of your life was wasted reading that?
2/3 of it was just set up for the last 100 pages or so, maybe 90 pages or so. So it was, and there was no excitement. There was absolutely no excitement for that book. For this one, there was at least a solid jumping off point. There was
they had a good beginning.
Yeah, there was a promise of some really exciting shit happening down the line.
Yeah, they set up some interesting characters. The events were interesting. Like the beginning of the book was solid. It's like he had a solid idea, and then I don't know, like Alzheimer's or something kicked in, and he just fucking meandered for about 600 pages before taking a giant shit on everything that he set up at the beginning.
Yeah, there was this tension to the beginning that just fell apart the moment the bombs dropped. So just, real quick, Swan Song deals with basically World War III breaking out, nuclear warheads start flying everywhere.
And it's like an 80s World War III. It's like Americans and the Russians still hate each other for some reason, because Trump's not involved yet to set up that.
Yeah, they were just planning ahead. He was just planning ahead as he was
right. He saw it coming.
Yeah,
he looked in the fucking glass tiara and saw fucking President Trump read.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that tiara. I'm sure we will. Yeah, so it all goes to shit. Well, we're led to believe that it all goes to shit because we only know that the U.S. goes to shit. Mm-hmm. And even then, we have survivors in various places. I think there's 3 POVs, 3 groups.
Yeah, you've got the kid and the colonel.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Josh and Swan, and then you've got the fucking bag lady.
Bag lady.
Yeah. Sister Creep.
Yeah, so those 3 POVs carry the book for 900 grueling pages, or
absolutely no character development.
No, they just pretty much start
7 years. They have 7 years, and the characters are fucking exactly the same, like that they are on page 2, that they are after the 7-year jump. Like
And here's the thing, the jump, because I think we talked about this. I was telling you, by the time the time jump happens, I think that works. I wasn't really paying attention anymore. Like I was really looking forward to something to pull me back into the book. Right. I swear, I almost went to the beginning and started reading it again to see if there weren't some signs of it fucking up. Because there was like no warning of it fucking up so bad at the end. And when the jump happened, I didn't catch it because it was just one mention at some point in the like one page or another, and then
there was nothing going on other than him telling you that they jumped.
Yeah, like 7 years.
Jump because they're doing the same fucking shit. They're wandering around like just fucking aimlessly.
Yep.
For no apparent reason. Like apparently the tiara is trying to get to the little girl, and the little girl's thinking maybe east, which is
east. It's all we got to go on. And the Josh follows for some reason because he's got
you've got your kids, that you love.
They're probably dead.
They're probably dead.
Let's dead.
Ignore them for fucking 7 years and follow like Miracle Grow.
Yeah, I've survived with this girl and her mother and this random peepaw who has a gas station in the middle of nowhere in a cornfield, and I've been wandering the U.S. for first it's weeks and then months and then years, and I keep seeing people who are alive everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But there's, my family's probably dead by now. I mean, hopefully, I hope my family's dead by now, and I hope they went fast. That's Josh, everyone. The character of Josh, who's a wrestler.
Black Frankenstein.
Black Frankenstein. Yeah. Wrestler, Black Frankenstein.
Described as black in the book,
and he has a mask as well. Yeah, he wrestles with a mask on, which is sort of a Mexican thing.
No.
Tim says, this book was solely responsible for ruining my lunch at a fine Mexican eatery. Scott spent the entire time telling me the plot and made me want to start drinking again. Well, it made me start drinking, period. Especially the latter part of it. I forget what I was trying to say, which is probably what Robert called the second half of the book. Oh yeah. So he mentions. So he does this intro of them moving along, and then he says that 7 years passed. And the moment I realized that 7 years had passed was 5 Kindle pages later, when Swan grows up. She's like 16 now, or 17, or whatever it is.
It still talks and acts like a fucking 9-year-old girl.
Yeah, basically, with just Tangela shit on her face.
Yeah, face cocoon.
Yeah, but before we go there, so I know you have a lot to say. I'm gonna let you go here for a bit, and pop in here and there. I'm sure you cover more ground than I possibly could. So have at it. This is water, by the way. There we go. Good chug. Good chug. So where do we start with
7 years later.
Do you want to start there? Just ignore the first half and just start 7 years later.
The first half of the book was really, really good. Like the whole thing with the president, like the president's perspective, and that kind of set up to, okay, we're gonna establish like what's going on, so you have some backstory. You know, everything's getting really bad with Russia. Everybody kind of sees it coming. They do a good job of setting up the kid with his parents going into the bunker because, you know, people that have money are like alternating weeks in the bunker, the nuclear bunker, like it's a fucking timeshare.
Yeah,
which is whatever, you know. Okay, like I'm with you. Like it doesn't have to be perfect, you know.
I mean,
they're with them at that point.
They're going to a bunker hoping that the end of the world will happen when they're in the bunker.
Falls on their.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally.
Going into the bunker wasn't enough of a weird thing to do every once in a while. They're actually alternating. It's weird.
It's a
but
time
on the president, you know, because nobody wants to be the guy who pushes the red button.
Yeah,
and makes all hell break loose. So yeah, definitely good setup there.
I liked the sister creep thing, like just this random crazy homeless woman in New York who seems to, like, as you find out, and there's going to be a lot of spoilers. Like,
oh yeah,
because there's no way to talk about this piece of shit without spoiling it.
It deserves to be spoiled, not in the good way.
She's homeless, as you find out later in the book, because she lost her child in a car accident, and she just kind of snaps at that point. But then, we'll hold on. We'll just establish the characters first. So she's a homeless woman in New York, kind of crazy, has some religious tendencies, which everybody in this book has. It's like a thinly veiled rewrite of the fucking Bible. So
less of the cool stuff.
Yeah. So you've got Sister Crete. Then you've got the little boy in the timeshare, and they sent up Colonel Mcallen, who's like an old war hero, and they kind of use his name to get people to come to the timeshare, but you know, the place is falling apart and it's not up to his standards, and you know, typical fucking soldier stereotype bullshit.
He doesn't really care anymore. He's down on his luck. He doesn't really give a shit.
But again, like, still with it. Like, it's all very interesting. And the whole time you're reading this, or at least for me, the whole time I'm reading the introduction of these characters, along with Josh, who's the wrestler. He's a big black wrestler, like freakishly large. They call him Black Frankenstein when he's in Arkansas or wherever he's wrestling at. And they're setting up these characters. And for me, I'm in my head going, it's going to be really cool when they get together. And these are going to be interesting dynamics to see how the Colonel interacts with the homeless lady and interacts with the wrestler. And then you've got Swan, who has, like, they allude to her being like a great gardener at the beginning of the book. And then that kind of turns into, this is like her superpower. She's kind of like Poison Ivy. She can touch the ground and make shit grow. Which is
less sexy, more tentacly.
So you're going through all of this, and it seems really, really interesting. And then they've got this weird scene with a guy who's watching Faces of Death in a movie theater on a loop. He just keeps watching it over and over, and he's like jerking off to it and like really getting off and laughing as he's watching it. And the movie theater people are like, that guy's weird. Let's just, let's play it again. He's really creepy. So you've got this, and you're like, okay, well, here's like this big evil character who's going to come into play at some point. And that's kind of the setup of the book. And then the bombs drop.
Yeah. and then the book just falls off the face of the earth. So the way the characters were introduced was, I'll agree with you. It was great. The fact that that McCammon went with like some really dark shit, especially with Sister, because she comes across this dead baby in a dumpster. I don't know about you, but when I read about a dead baby in a dumpster and the way that she interacts with it as well, because she cradles it and then she pushes it under, she tries to protect it from the rat infestation in the area. Like, there was some dark shit going on with Sister and what she'd been through. So I was really interested in that particular character. And there was also, what's his face? The kid that came into
Roland.
Roland. The eventual King's Knight. Who's this stereotypical I don't want to do anything else but play computer games all day type dude?
Oh, write a computer game. He was actually programming his own.
Exactly. He was making his own
the King's Knight
RPG, the King's Knight. So, and he really takes his role on after shit hits the fan. There's also a period where the book carries on strong right after the bombs drop. The moment is very visceral. It takes everybody by surprise. I'm not exactly sure how realistic some of the, I mean, we're talking realistic, there's magic in this shit, but I'm not sure how well some of the characters would be able to make it in a real life situation through those events, because Sister is submerged in this like subway line.
She were in New York, so she was aight.
Yeah. And then Josh and Swan and Swan's mother, who just left their abusive father in the trailer park, speaking of stereotypes, they're blasted and hide in what do you call it? Like an underground bunker that was luckily built there by the people who were at the missile base nearby.
Yeah. But so here's the other interesting thing, because something else starts at this point when the bombs drop. His fascination with how people look, which is a really interesting thing about the book, because there's this point trying to be made, like, it doesn't matter what you look like, it's your beauty's on the inside. And it's all he can fucking talk about is how people look. And how fucking ugly they are now. And he just fucking obsesses over it, and how everybody, and you know, there's a certain Freudian thing, like when you're writing about shit, you're writing about like how you think about shit and how you see things. So he's got some kind of issues with like the way he looks or the way he looks at other people that need to be fucking resolved. Like he needs some time on somebody's couch somewhere, because it was constant. Like all you were hearing about is like how ugly people were, and man, they're really fucking disfigured. And when people saw him, they were like, "Fuck, you're ugly." And those people were ugly too, but some of the people were really pretty. And this goes on and on and on throughout the whole fucking book.
Yeah, and there's levels of ugliness as well, and there's levels of shock that people experience when they see other people.
Yeah,
like that's the it's also one of the main like the main elements that drive interaction as well between the people, because everybody has various scars from burning keloids, I think. Was that the term?
Yeah, keloids or
keloids. Okay,
pronounced.
Yeah, and you know, right after the explosions, they have boils everywhere, and their hair's gone, and
it starts with boils and the disfiguration, and
and then the skin falls apart, and like
a couple moles on their forehead, which he spends a lot of time talking about, like how everybody has their moles, and you're like, okay, something's gonna happen with this.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. Every time something happened, it never took me by. I don't want to sound like I'm holier than thou or anything, or pedantic or whatever. It didn't take me by surprise, because it was so transparent the way he did it. Like,
telegraphed.
Yeah, exactly. By the end, when they were so we're going to jump forward a lot here, but by the end, when they were heading for the mountain, they passed by a swamp inside which were the remains of a great big old plane. And in the beginning, the only plane that's mentioned was the one that was basically Air Force One. And I'm like, oh, please let it be that nobody on that plane actually survived, and we're going to get served, I don't know, knowledge from somebody in the administration. I was actually not betting on the president himself. I was betting on God. Yeah, being God. I was betting on some of the other military dudes, but it was such trash. So
hold on, you get way ahead of yourself.
Yeah, no, it was. I just speaking of everything that
the end of this fucking book is the cherry on top of a fucking nightmare. And it's almost like this truly might be the greatest horror novel ever written. Because if it was his intention to come in with something really interesting and then, like, I don't know, somehow get, like, just a way too many people to leave positive reviews about it. So you kind of get lured into, like, this great setup, and I'm going to read through this thing all the way to the fucking end. And that's where the real nightmare lies in this tale. Is, like, you sit there and you hang on and you're like, there's got to be something, like maybe I'm missing something, because I did several times. I went back and reread things. Like, is there something that I'm missing? Is there something deeper to this that I'm not getting? Because this is really, really poor. Even the writing itself was really poor. He says like more in this novel than a 16-year-old Valley girl. Everything is fucking like just horrible, metaphors and similes, and her eyes were like a fucking pool of radiant water, and her hair was like a pair of fucking scissors sitting in a cup, and like there was no fucking just excruciating.
No, tell us how you really feel. Now, the writing itself I did pick up on a lot of the vocabulary wasn't extensive, but there's only so many ways you can describe gray face growths until you run out of synonyms. So that wasn't exactly the thing that bothered me, but again, the setup was great, and the bombs dropped, and then people were hurt, and then they started surviving, and then they just I was like, all right, I'm rooting for these people. I want them to pull through and make something amazing of this. And I ended up wanting them to die. This
is a big part of the book, because Sister finds in like a jewelry store this melted configuration of like glass and gems, and it looks almost crown-like.
Oh, really? Does it?
Of about 150,000 fucking times before you finally go, will you put the fucking thing on the little girl's head?
Just put it on her head and be done with it. Please.
But anyway, at like page 200, you see the crown-like glass that the fucking homeless woman has. Now, for some reason, the nuclear bombs all of a sudden make her not crazy anymore. So she's crazy for about 10 fucking pages. And then the nuclear bombs drop and she's like, I'm fine now. I got this shit. Which is just infuriating, because you're like, that was the only interesting part about this fucking character, was the fact that she was nuts. And now she's not. Now she's all of a sudden got a mission.
Yeah, no, she's a survivor in a post-apocalyptic wasteland instead of being a nutcake survivor in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Yeah.
She's a crazy woman walking around talking about the apocalypse. The apocalypse actually fucking comes for all intents purposes, and she's like, oh, shit. Well, I'm fine now.
And then she keeps talking about the end times and starts thinking that maybe this isn't the end. Like maybe there's something more to...
How about the meetup with fucking Dr. Evil?
Oh, yeah, that was the theater thing. The guy scaring the bejesus out of everyone, and the attitude of the reader to him is like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
He's basically the personification of death? The devil?
Yes, I guess that's what he's going at. I mean, it's got to be something like that. He can change his faces, which he never uses in any type of fucking interesting way.
Yeah, no.
But she bumps into him. He's like, oh, that's a cool fucking thing you got there. I'm the most evil and powerful thing in the land, yet somehow I'm not going to be able to get this thing from you. And then this thing is so important to him as a character that he spends the entirety of the rest of the book trying to find that object again.
7 years.
He's constantly being outwitted by the fucking crazy homeless lady who isn't doing anything to like cover her tracks, or I mean, she's just basically fucking wandering around.
Yeah,
he can't find her, and he wants this object more than anything. Not that you know any of this, because he completely disappears from the book forever. By the time he pops back up, you go, oh yeah, there was that fucking guy in the movie theater 500 fucking pages ago. I forgot about him.
And so after this happens, she meets up with a group of survivors, and they, I'm not up on my geography, but they try to make it across a bridge from one of New York's islands to the other one, and the bridge is out, and they make it through a tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and one of the survivors doesn't want to go through, and he stays on the other end. And as they're going through this tunnel, and they make it to the other side. The guy's on the cop, I guess, or something, he's left behind, and they hear him scream, and they're like, oh shit. She's like, sister's like, shit, the faceless whatever got him. And then we find out that the faceless whatever has mind reading powers, and he basically does that to everyone he comes across. So he's really into finding this crown, and he's just met with sister like a couple days ago, and he finds someone in the same area that just happens to have seen sister as well, but somehow he doesn't bother to, you know, use his gifts until it becomes relevant to the plot, which is 500 pages later. And
he just disappears.
Yeah.
That's the last time like that you even hear about him. Like, I literally forgot that character existed, and then all of a sudden it was 7 years later, and he pops back up, and they say, you know, and he's been looking for sister for 7 years. Which, that's the other thing that he likes to do, is he has to tell you everything. Like, everything has to be fucking spelled out for you, because he has no ability to like write where you can get things from fucking inference of situations or how they're talking. Everything is like, she's a good person. You know why you know she's a good person? Because I just fucking told you she's a good person.
Yeah, and if he tries to get you to know something, he does it so in such an obvious manner that he doesn't get you to think at all.
At all.
Like, stuff is either spelled out or wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
And there's no middle ground, it was kind of disappointing. I say kinda because I still enjoyed a good part of it. It just that it dragged on for so long.
I liked when Roland killed his dad for no fucking apparent reason.
And his mom. Was it?
He listened to his mom burn to death.
Yeah.
He didn't actually kill her. His dad, he just fucking killed. Because with the colonel now, and I don't know. I decided to kill my dad.
This guy's coming at me, screaming at me. I sort of kind of recognize his voice, but oh well, rip.
Yeah. Later.
He does a ton of crazy shit.
But they're the bad guys, which there's no fucking gray area in this book. Like, somebody is evil, is either pure fucking evil or a pure fucking ray of sunshine no matter what happens. There's no gray area. There's no conflict within the characters. Like, should I do something wrong or should I do something right? No, it's the apocalypse, and I've got my mind fucking made up about what kind of person I'm going to be. I'm going to be a psychopath fucking kid, and I'm going to, like, get all delusional and think this guy's a king and I'm his knight. And
which is a very pertinent commentary on the effect that video games have on the youth today. I'm pretty sure, like, I'm amazed they haven't used this as reasoning for why video games are bad for you, because, like, that is legit. Like, video games are bad for you. Like, that is a legit example.
It's a legitimate reason why so many kids are playing video games, because if these are the fucking books that are coming out, don't waste your fucking time reading them.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure one of the quotes eventually is going to be, "This book got me back into playing Fortnite." it seriously deserves it. Like, Fortnite deserves an award compared as art compared to what this ended up being. But also, speaking of the no gray areas, even the guy they meet in the woods, the guy that's cooped up in the shack with
with the radio that he turns on to give people hope.
I was sort of hoping that that guy would be this weird, it would have been amazing for him to be either a cannibal or keeping those people there for some, I don't know, ulterior.
That's right where my head went. Like this is a farm. Like this is his meat farm.
Yeah, exactly.
After he gets hungry, he takes him in the other room. And then it's like, is it time to, like, I was hoping that time to turn on the radio. Is it time to eat the next person yet? Like that's what the old man's all excited
I was hoping it was time. Like I was hoping they were so like insane by that point and so out of hope that they were playing Russian roulette.
Yeah.
I was hoping he would bring in a gun and that they would play Russian roulette. And I'm like, holy shit. All right, let's see how Sister and the other guy react to this. This is going to be fun. And then he brings in the radio and they try to contact someone. And it's like, wait, what? Like there's this dude that's been in the forest living on his own for who knows how long, because we find out eventually. And he's the most hopeful fucker around. And he tries to help a bunch of other hopeful fuckers. And we have this couple that's very hopeful, which is Sister and her crown, and the other guy who's
so the kid's a little off.
A little, yeah.
The kid's a little off. Like they give you a taste of that. The Black Frankenstein and Swan make it out of the little crawl space underneath the convenience store.
It takes them a good month.
Sister, gets her little ragtag group of friends together, and they're going to wander aimlessly. And then, boom, now we're going to jump forward 7 years. And now they jump forward 7 years, and everybody has a fucking face cocoon. Like everybody in the fucking book has a face. All these main characters now have face cocoons. Okay?
Yes.
And immediately you're going, okay, well, they're going to open up and the bad people are going to be ugly and the good people are going to be
beautiful. Yeah.
Because the best way to show that looks don't matter is to transform everybody into
their archetype
and define who they are as people. Like
that's you use your archetype to paint their likeness. It's
so
I don't even know what to say at that point, because it was like, oh no, they're gonna be like that for the rest of their lives, and they can't even breathe, and they, strangely enough, they have slits to breathe and eat. Like everything gets covered apart from their mouth and nose. That's the best kind of cancer I want. Like that is the best kind of terminal illness. Their face warts grow so big they can barely hold their head up. But thank Christ they can still breathe and eat so that they can suffer till the end of their days with that shit on their face till they fall flat and can't get up. That was infuriating. That was genuinely infuriating.
And you have jump forward 7 years. Oh God, I almost forgot before the jump forward. The fucking prostitute. How can you forget the prostitute?
Oh yeah.
What a great character. Hey, look. So the prostitute runs into the little boy and Colonel Mcallen, who immediately rape her. Mcallen goes, "Hey son, time to pop that cherry. Why don't you fuck this prostitute?" She's got a big bag of drugs and everything. So they decide, hey, we're going to use her to sneak into this like little encampment thing that's set up. And we're going to use her and all the drugs. And one of my favorite moments of the book is all the girls in the camp that are jealous that everybody wants to rape her now and not them. They're like, man, I wish I could be the girl that everybody wants to forcibly rape. Oh, this bitch, I'm so jealous now. She's ruining my rape game. It was so fucking detached from all reality that it was horrid. It was horrid.
I guess there's something to be said about the state of things. You know, it goes to such an extent that you end up being jealous on someone that they're being raped, but they sort of get the good side of the camp and the good bed and the good like trailer and food and whatnot.
The big fat boy, the big fat guy that wants to fuck Roland because he's into little boys.
Oh yeah, we got Morton Joe there.
Yeah,
and the head honcho, who of course was a gun dealer, you know, a gun store owner. I'm sorry, who started stashing stuff in hope, and well, not in hopes, but preempting something like this happening. So he was
in a good situation to run everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And his people were extremely loyal to him up until they just fucking kill him. And then everybody's like, all right, well, we're loyal to the guy that killed him.
What the hell? Like, yeah, and in this camp of hundreds of people, right? Because Fat Boy in charge gets a group around him, and he's got supplies, and he gets shit rolling near
his little pet that he has, who meets Roland. He's like, hey, don't muscle in on my turf. I'm the fat guy's rape boy. I'm his rape boy. Don't think you can come in here and be his fucking rape boy. I'm his rape boy. And I will fucking fight you to the death to hold on to that title.
Speaking of the author's issues and shit. No, but so he's amassed this following around Salt Lake, like the actual Salt Lake in Salt Lake City, which I guess is there because I'm stupid and haven't checked. There's a lake there, right?
Yeah, and it's made of salt entirely.
Yeah, of course, because that's how lakes work. And so they're there, and the couple, I forget what they're called, dirtwarts or something. So the colonel and the kid end up living right outside, away from the lake, and they wouldn't let them close because they had nothing to bring in, and basically they stunk. So they lived underground, and they just preyed on people who happened to pass by, and stole their shit, maybe traded with the big town, and then so on and so forth. And they get in with the prostitute and her drugs, who said prostitutes cannot be used to noble goals in the future. I don't know. There's probably something there I'm missing with that whole character, as you've said. So they get in, and within, is it days? Is it a week?
I don't even think it's a week. I think like they get in, like, hey, go set up your tent. Thanks for the drugs. This will work. Later on that night,
for the drugs.
Hey, Roland, come on in here. Big fat pedophile wants to talk to you. He's like, hey, Roland, have some Coke, and like a Coca-Cola, and Roland drinks it. He starts feeling all loopy, and he's about to get Cosby'd, but he's just fucking lucid enough to fucking kill the fat man.
He's lucid enough to overpower the drug that he put in his drink and kill the fat man and scare the shit out of the fat man's previous rape boy.
Yeah. Yeah. And then everything's cool. So now him and the colonel are in charge. And everybody's good with that. And
in that entire group of people around the lake, there's no one to object to this. Because
that's just the way shit is now.
Like, I know they have
what the writer said.
Like, I know they have the best guns and the best food, but they don't have the only guns in the place. So you can literally just pick some guns up as a group of 10 out of 200 and sort of kind of maybe take that over. You'd think it had happened by then anyway, right? Because he was kind of, the guy in charge was kind of a...
Well, he was fucking little boys.
Yeah.
So,
He was kind of a fucking creep. So, but nobody had any objection to that.
And it's not like he was Michael Jackson. We weren't getting any great music out of it. So
at least, there were no redeeming qualities about him. He didn't paint. Hitler painted poorly, but still. So it was off. So they take over. Nothing happens, and they're still in charge 7 years later, warts and all, because both of them are warts. But now. Mcallen, the colonel, is trying to push this idea of purification.
Oh yeah, but here's the great thing about Mcallen. Here's an American war hero. He served in I think he served in Vietnam.
Yeah, I think so.
Most patriotic motherfucker there is. Who all of a sudden, just fucking randomly, because it's the end times now, thinks, you know what? I think dressing like a fucking Nazi. is a really good idea now. Because I need you guys to know he's really, really evil. He's a bad guy. You know how I know? He's now wearing a Nazi uniform.
Not only that, but he's also wearing full Nazi regalia, like medals and everything. And the reason that he gives is that Mcallen thought they looked good. I swear to that was a line. Like, that was a legit line. Like, he put that on and he thought it looked good. That's it. That is the entire reason behind that. And it just, it just goes on. And he goes on purification spree where he tries to clean up camp because his
kill everybody with the same growth that he has.
Yeah, and because his military, you know, instincts kick in, and he wants things orderly, and he wants things. He wants power.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the low tier villains, I forget what the tiers for the villains were. You know, that old scale of they're just greedy, they're aiming for power, they're, you know, revenge and so on and so forth. And the top one was a higher goal that made them seem even heroic. This is shit tier. This is just, you know, he's greedy, he likes his Nazi uniform, probably going to start collecting some more. And it keeps falling apart from there. So
now there's Swan, who's like the thing that's holding this whole story together, supposedly. Like this is the character who is just vapid. Like there's nothing to this character. There's nothing to her. She's just fucking nice. And that's it. There's no depth, there's no struggle. She's just really nice, and now she's nice and ugly, and don't we feel sorry for her? Because nobody who's nice should be ugly, because that's what more horrible thing.
It's just unfair. It's really unfair.
Person.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like that's all that's going on with her. She's making plants grow.
She's making plants grow 7 years later. So they move. This is another thing. So again, there's a couple things that really got me pissed. This is one of them again. So when they haven't escaped from the underground bunker that collapsed on them, Swan and Josh, so they're still under there, and she sleeps in this sort of cooped up position. And at one point she gets up from there, and he sees that there's plant growth underneath. So we sort of get the confirmation that we had.
This is early on. It's not at one point. Like this is at the beginning when they're underground.
Yeah, it's right at
there's no sunlight. There's no anything. There's no miracle.
Basically, they just found the flashlight, right? And they have a flashlight that still has batteries. Convenient. So we get the confirmation that, all right, there's something about her, because we got hints in the beginning that she was feeling the flowers and plants and all that. Well, hints. We're basically fucking told. Because there's no hints in this book at all. There's nothing hinted at. And they travel together over ground for a long, long time, and they pass by many, many places. And
just then totally ignoring the fact that she can make shit grow.
Holy shit! How many trees has she passed by? And has she never touched one? Or like took a shit someplace and then something sprouted up of her dung? Like it's 7 years later, she puts her hand on a tree.
On an apple tree.
On an apple tree.
It was an old apple tree. It belonged to his wife.
It was a fucking apple tree as well.
Man who's got the fucking dead wife now, and she planted all the apple trees, and there's only one left, and he's so fucking distraught. And she comes over, she touches the apple tree, and it springs to fucking life, and it's a miracle. And they're still not like doing anything about it. They're like, well, let's just kind of keep going east.
Yeah, you know.
At this point, how is Black Frankenstein not going, well, shit, even if we find my kids and they're dead, why don't I just have her finger them, and then they'll fucking sprout back to life? But no, I still don't give a fuck about my kids. Like,
I want that sequel
in my life for the whole fucking beginning of this book, but not anymore.
I want Josh and Swan traveling to Josh's like dead family spot and finding their graves, which are conveniently marked, and they plant a tree, and the tree grows really fast, and because swans and the trees make little shrunken heads as fruit, because they spring from the bodies of his family. That would have been a better. That would have been a horror book.
It would have been more interesting.
Yeah, it would have been. That would have been actually freaky, because and everything. Everything that's happening is aiming toward renewal. Like people keep surviving in the nuclear wasteland. Isn't there supposed to be like a really, really bad nuclear winter where everything dies?
But I mean, there's so many things wrong with this. You don't even have to bring common sense into it.
Okay, so, I'm sorry.
But yeah, there's so many fucking plot holes with, like, you know, how people survive, and just the whole shit is fucking ridiculous. But let's touch on also. Oh God, I had something great that I just remembered, and I think I'm gonna lose it. Okay, keep talking. It'll come back to me.
All right, so yeah, so this was another thing that infuriated me, that during those 7 years, nothing happened. And over 7 years, as you've said, everybody is in the exact same place. So Sister keeps moving. Mcallen has started to amass power. He's got his own little army, and apparently there are many armies across the face of the U.S.
Yeah, tons of them.
Yeah, everybody vying for territory and resources, which are fuel and food and probably prostitutes, because they end up having this prostitute corps that follow these groupies, these army groupies that follow them along, which is, again, you know, and vying for the top position, which was also weird. And they reach. Speaking of fucking transparent shit, I don't know if there's talk about it first or if they just happen to be there. Mary's Rest. You know, the town where everything happens is, again, a biblical reference, as everything that's gone on before has been. And I don't know. They keep finding these. I keep jumping back and forth, but they keep finding these secondary characters that end up sounding. Their stories sound more interesting than the stories of the characters that we've been following, because nothing's been going on with them for 7 years, and we freaking come across Robin, who's like post-nuclear Peter Pan and his Lost Boys, taking care of the kids from the orphanage. The guy that you mentioned with the apple tree, whose wife died, and he found a woman who was out of her mind, and he gave her a name and took her on as his wife. Which, you know,
this will do in a pinch.
Yeah.
Pinch. I mean, this book is 100%, and I haven't looked at his autobiography or his, you know, blurb, but there's no way he's ever had a meaningful fucking relationship with anybody in his fucking life. There's no, if he's a father, I just want to I want to start a fucking GoFundMe for his kids. Okay? Because this, oh God, the love story. Can we talk about Robin and the fucking love story yet?
Oh yeah. Love at first sight. Again, I haven't heard this one in like
Cosby.
2 pages.
So finally, everybody's faces start to hatch, okay? And Swan's is the first, and go figure. She's the most beautiful fucking thing. She's the most beautiful 16-year-old girl ever. She's gorgeous. And Robin's there when she hatches, and Robin decides to come over. Now, Robin hasn't.
I'm sorry. Can we use hatch from now on for that? Like, I'm not sure if you've said it before, but no, sorry. Please go on. That really got me.
And he hasn't like had any conversations or any kind of fucking interactions with her at all. But now he sees she's fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm instantly in love with her, and I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna kiss her while she's in a coma. Okay?
I mean, I didn't like her when she was all wordy and shit, because that shit's nasty. But you know, definitely now that she looks like a newborn calf. Yeah.
And so she hits him or slaps him or whatever. Yeah. But you know, she did. It's only because she didn't understand. It's only because her heart hasn't had time to realize that this is the love of her life in the middle of the apocalypse.
It's only because Robert hasn't written that she likes him yet. Just yet.
By the way, these two are now in love.
Book of the year.
Beautiful.
Fucking book of the year.
Tearing up.
Yeah. They are they the only. Josh has a sort of similar love story, because those aren't. That's Black Frankenstein wrestler dude.
No, I don't think so. If he did, I spaced it out. I mean, he kind of had like some kind of connection with the girl and her son because he finally met another black woman. So
yeah,
it was now safe for him to fucking fall in love.
Mary's like. Speaking of the writing,
horrible.
That's
what it was. It was like, oh, I really need to put a black woman in here so Josh can fall in love.
And he put a ton of black people in Mary's Rest, though. Like, from judging, again, so I'm not a native speaker, but I know stereotype when I see it. Judging from their fucking dialogue, that was like, oh shit! I wonder if Kevin Hart's gonna play in the movie. Kevin Hart's gonna play some Mary's Rest.
Now, one thing I do know about the author is he is from Arkansas,
okay.
Which I live not far from there, so that answered a lot of questions for me about a lot of things in this fucking book.
The copious amounts of corn, for instance. Yeah. So Josh has the same type of love story. Fuck, Sister has the same type of love story almost, because she has a great rapport with the guy in the cabin that they meet, and she convinces him that waiting there basically to die eventually, because he was going to run out of bullets because he used to hunt wolves for sustenance. So she convinces him to take the truck that he has parked out back and try to make it someplace that, there's
oh shit, you just reminded me of something.
Oh, go ahead.
The glass tiara, the most precious thing in the world, the most important object in the whole fucking universe, and Sister knows this, but she just fucking hands it to anybody that wants to fucking hold it.
Just here, go ahead, touch it, and then nobody does, like, nobody tries to steal it or anything, and it doesn't.
She'll even address the fact that that guy can change his face and look like anyone. This could be that guy, like literally, like this is the thought process. This could be that guy. Want to hold it?
And that
fucking times in the stupid book,
and nobody falls, like nobody is driven by greed. Like none of the people she meets, apart from the face change guy, who she lets touch the tiara, none of them get overtaken by fucking glass tiara honor systems. It's amazing. Fucking Paragon Renegade. Everybody just, has this moment of well-being, and they get transported to a better place and a better space. And
it's like the embodiment of the love of God.
Yeah, it's, strange how that works. Mysterious, you would say. It's a very mysterious way in which God's love works. So she convinces the guy to go forward. They Deus Ex Machina, salvation is right over the next hill. Like, holy shit, their salvation was over the next fucking hill from where the cabin guy was situated. What were the fucking odds of that? And they get treated because there's this big encampment there. And he's known her for, again, a few days. She decides to keep going because she has to find the person who she sees, because when she touches that, she starts communicating with
monster.
So he goes with her, this person whom he's known for a couple days. He's been alone with some fuckers in a forest for months, weeks at that point. I'm not sure.
They're doing quite well too. I mean,
exactly. Like, apart from running out of bullets, and you get to this like haven where they have everything. They have cars, they have medics, they have some medicine. They're trying to keep everybody alive. Everybody's doing sort of well, all things considered. And you go walk about with the bum. It's the bum you've known for a few days, and they stick together for 7 fucking years.
Because of the magic of the tiara.
And for 7 fucking years, nothing happens between them.
Nothing.
This is the one that's not exactly love at first sight. This is repressed love at first sight. Because nothing happens for 7 fucking years, and then right at the end they kiss. Right? Because they did.
Yeah,
I think so. I hope I'm remembering this right. But there was legitimate there was a legitimate connection between them after 7 fucking years. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean that's it. So they finally
yeah, that's it.
they finally fucking hook up. Like everybody gets together kind of. And what you were excited about in the first couple hundred pages of the book, which is like, let's see how everybody interacts together and let's see how these characters change each other's lives and how they adapt to the apocalypse. All the shit was never fucking done in the book that should be, you know, if it was. So anyway, so they finally get together. Everybody gets together, and everybody gets together like immediately. Like, like sister. It's almost like shit, man. I've been dragging this thing out for 700 pages now. I really need to wrap it up. Let me fucking end it. Okay. So like real quick, sister and the girl meet. They get together. This is cool. I've been waiting for the crown. I've been waiting for you. Let me put it on. Oh shit, I'm magically bulletproof. Let me never wear it again. Then she meets the fucking devil or whatever, because all of a sudden he pops back into the fucking book out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
Nowhere. He jumps back into the book. And he's like, hey, I'm
his fucking flies, man. His fucking flies, because he spits, he vomits the flies, and a fly lands. There is a literal fly on the wall in the room where sister is with the fucking tiara thing. It just, you know, it happens to be there. Yeah, sorry, go on. That's another.
So he hooks up with, I bet you can't guess who the bad guy hooks up with. Yep, Roland and the fucking Colonel. Who would have fucking thought that was going to happen?
The 3 bad guys in the whole book.
So now they all get together. Now they're going to be really bad, like even badder than they were. And they very quickly like get to Swan. Like it takes like a minute. The devil and Swan meet, and she's like, I love you. And he's like, oh, it burns. I can't fucking handle this shit. And you're like, what the fuck was that? I don't know how to kill her. I'm surrounded by guys with guns.
Wait. No. They met. The it burns thing was before. He hooked up. Yeah. So everybody gets together, including the bad guy. And at that point, I was hoping this would end. Like I was just hoping the guy would come in, grab that fucking tiara, rip it to pieces, burn everything, level the whole place, and then we could have done an epilogue where Roland and the Colonel are ruling the U.S. and they're gonna fucking, I don't know, launch an attack on Russia, or there's a rogue nuke that hasn't been sent and it pops over and kills everybody. But he's burned by her, and she says, he's burned by her. He takes refuge. Couple days pass. Shit gets nice in Mary's rest because she plants the corn and almost dies doing it. And traveling merchants come in, and then he pops out of his hiding spot, comes back around, and she forgives him. So he fucks off. He just can't take that. He just can't take forgiveness after all he's done.
She wrecks him. So then, So then he's hooked up with the army now.
Yeah. After he beats Josh, because Josh tries to take on the devil alone.
And for some reason, like they're going to try and defend their little fucking village when like she grew everything in a fucking week. And it's like, oh, there's an army coming and they're going to take everything that you did in a week. Well, I don't know. Maybe we should get the fuck out of here and I can spend a week somewhere else just making the same shit. Like this location is not important for any fucking reason. You've got this like super important person with their fucking tiara that can make shit grow anywhere you go. But like we're going to hold down and we're going to fight the insurmountable odds here for no fucking reason. Like there's no reason given to why they do it other than, well, this is our home now. The fuck, you've been wandering for 8 fucking years. You spent a week in one place and now all of a sudden this is your fucking home?
Suddenly it has to be this. And the army's like on our doorstep. Like we could just, the horse was dead by then, wasn't it?
No, she was riding around on the fucking horse.
Oh, she was riding, during you can just fucking, you can
crown on. In the middle of the fucking war, she's got a bulletproof fucking crown. She's riding around on a fucking horse with bullets whizzing by, and she's like, ain't gonna wear the crown. I'm gonna let the crazy fucking homeless lady hold on to it a little while fucking longer.
There was an opportunity for a tank versus bulletproof horse rider jousting that was wasted at this point. I was so fucking pissed Because I was hoping at some point she would just put that shit on, jumped over the thing with the horse, I don't know, rode the horse to death through the fucking thing, and just, you know, smash the patriarchy. But
we're really reaching the story's pinnacle, because now they've captured Swan.
Yes.
They've captured her. They've got her, and they've got Sister Crazy or Sister Freak or Sister whatever her name is. And they've got both of them. And the changing face Devil Man, you know, is right there. He's got Mcallen. He's got Roland. He's surrounded by guys with guns. He's like, I got you, bitch. But I want to know where you put the crown. And I can't read the sister's mind anymore because she's crazy. All of a sudden, she's fucking so crazy, he can't read her mind. Yeah. Even though she's been perfectly sane for 800 goddamn pages leading up to this point, now she's so crazy that he can't read her mind to find out where the crown is.
She's gone fucking loopy, and her mind is now constipated to him.
So what do? They go, okay, well, while we go try and find the crown, lock him up with the prostitute in the trailer. That's going to be the secure area. We're going to, okay, listen, we're not going to guard him. We're not going to put like any, you know, make any effort. We're going to lock him up with the prostitute.
We're not going to rape him either.
Yeah, no.
Because you think by this point, you know, that's the two things they do in Macallen's camp. Like they fight and they fuck. And one of them is not consensual. I mean, neither is consensual. So yeah, so that happens. They get put in the trailer with the prostitute.
Crazy now the hooker's crazy.
The hooker's crazy. But wait, it all goes away.
Yeah,
within like again a couple days.
Yeah, so of meeting Sister. I used to be crazy, and I'm not. Hey, I think I can walk her through this.
Yeah, and Swan goes because she has the hooker has shell shock or PTSD or whatever over something that happened again 7 years ago.
That was their angle.
Yeah, related to killed a baby got killed. His head got smashed in, which again with the dead babies. Like really,
it's evil.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it might be a metaphor about abortion. Now that I think about it, this book was really fucking deep. It tackled all important issues. Yeah,
no, definitely a scalpel edge away from abortion, but in the general vicinity.
In New York now. I mean, I think that's what
good. You know, it's a good. When was this published? Was it like?
It's a precursor.
Because I don't know. Yeah, it was 2010 or something?
No, was it that recent? I thought it was like 2006. I'm hoping.
Was it? I really don't know.
Anyway,
I was trying to check. Yeah, sorry. Go on.
No, I think so.
1987. What?
It was written in 87. Okay, well the whole.
Oh no. That's
where it takes place, probably.
Oh yeah, Pocketbooks, 1987, Swan Song.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's the Russia-America thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that was time period accurate.
Fair enough. Yeah, there was a reprint in 2009 with the like fiery cover with the big black hole in the middle.
Gotcha.
So I guess that's because I remember 2010 as well or something. Yeah, I'm sorry. Where were we? Prostitute gets uncrazied.
Yeah, and she's like, "Boy, Swan's pretty. You wouldn't want them to rape Swan like they rape you, would you?"
Yeah.
It's like, no,
I mean, there's probably no reason to fear that because it hasn't happened, and they've been here 3 days, so they're probably never going to do it for some reason because suddenly they break character.
Too pretty to rape.
Yeah, it's like too cool for cool. Yeah. So
and then you've got this random fucker who's talking about how he saw God. And now like Mcallen all of a sudden wants to go find God on top of the mountain.
Is it does Mcallen drive the thing or is it I think the faceless death fiend drives it though, because he's got a bit of a bone to pick with God, I guess.
Yeah.
Also going back a bit from this, because they find the creepy guy talking about God in a different army, that they face off with, and in a mishmash of just nothing happening and corn growing and sister traipsing along the woods and shit with double-headed lynxes and all manner of, because nothing fucking people are either alive or faced, but the animals are fucking two-headed, you know. So there's been all this nuclear devastation and there's been radiation
randomly for like a couple pages near the end.
Yeah, it's, and then
we don't mean to paint it out like there's interesting shit like this happening all the time. This is like a 10-page interlude.
Don't get used to it.
900-page book where it's like, hey, there's a two-headed lynx.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's kind of interesting. Now that's it. There's nothing else going on with animals or anything throughout the whole book. There's not even any kind of like zombie things. There's nothing. It's the most boring fucking apocalypse ever.
There's also the dog and the horse that
they're normal.
Yeah, and they're perfectly normal. And I genuinely, for all the deaths that happened in the book, I think I was the dog really got me.
Yeah,
like because it was linked to the two-headed like mountain lion or whatever it was. So it was an awesome moment. Like it was a
sacrifice the body.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a heroic way for the dog to go out, and I like dogs, so that was that one really got me. So they face off with this cult that is trying to reach the mountain on which God lives. And in that entire latter half of the book, I felt that the assault was one of the better parts. It wasn't done as well as it could be, but it could have, like, I wish he'd have dragged that piece out, like that siege.
Well, he gets to reintroduce his fucking crazy grocery store character.
Yeah, from the loony bin.
To be the hero of the assault, so he could take over, like take some of Roland's thunder. Like, I guess he's supposed to be like a competing knight for the king's honor or some shit. But I mean, even that was really, there was nothing interesting about that. But there was some kind of friction between Roland and the crazy man.
Yep.
But nothing of consequence.
No. Oh yeah, Jolene just.
I told you I could walk us through until she got here.
Yeah. No, she just told me it was published in 1989 first.
Oh, okay.
She popped in over on Messenger. Yeah, but they actually, so in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, the last thing I was expecting was a siege against a shopping mall where the attacking army was using old medieval style siege towers.
Yeah, like he saw it in a book.
Mm-hmm.
That was his thing. It's like, because he used to be a carpenter.
Oh yeah.
Wonder what that.
Speaking of.
But he used to be a carpenter and he used to do all types of carpentry, and he saw something in a book once, and I think I can get us through the gate now. And Mcallen's like, yeah, crazy fucker, I'm gonna make you like my number 2 in command, because
yeah, this definitely sounds good. Out of everything I've heard and tried before, and with everything we have at our disposal, I'm definitely gonna give it to the guy from the loony bin. Well, I don't know he's from the loony bin, but he carved me this really nice set of stairs. So with like
his hand thing.
Oh yeah, the hand as well. Yeah. So there was that, and yeah, so he gives it to him, and then the siege happens. Well, it abates for a bit while the siege towers are being built, and that's where they take the lunatic from, the guy who says he saw God on a mountain. It's, again, we've definitely never heard that one before. Like, it's literally God spoke to him on a mountain. Couldn't.
Everybody's down with it. And like the embodiment of evil is like, I'm ready to go meet God. And because he can change his face at will and do a lot of other interesting things like read people's minds and send out little fucking spy flies, you're thinking, okay, well, this might really be like a God figure, because I mean, if this guy's along for the ride with that, it seems like, okay, maybe he's going to have a big showdown with God. The book at this point has become so stupid. I was kind of half ready for that. Like, you know, God's going to be there and he's going to, I don't know what the fuck I was expecting. I was waiting for it to be over. I remember
Do you think a face-off? Because I was expecting a face-off between Bad Cojones and Swan, and we didn't really get that one either.
No.
Do you think an all-out face-off with both good and evil annihilating each other would have been a better outcome?
I don't. At this point of the book, it was unsalvageable. There was nothing that could have happened. The only reason that I finished reading it is so I could say I finished reading the whole fucking thing, and nobody could ever tell me, oh, well, if you didn't finish it, you didn't get to the really interest. Because I've had people pull that on me where I know something shit, and I didn't watch it to the end, and they're like, oh, well, if you would have stuck with it. Mm. And I wanted to make sure that when those people encountered me in life, I could say, no, this is a festering piece of shit. I read it all the way to the fucking end. I didn't skip a line. It is horrid. Everything about it is horrid. And the ending was the cherry on top of all the horrible things with the book. I mean,
right. So the ending. Okay. So in the beginning, there was God. No. In the beginning, Air Force One goes down in a whirlwind of like nuclear debris.
I think it was a Sharknado.
Yeah. It's just twisters everywhere, and it all goes to shit. And I'm like, oh shit! I was trying to like the president, like, you know, less than half of the U.S. at the moment. But
and that was another thing that I felt sucked with the story. I was expecting the president to be stuck with like homeless people and regular people at some point. I thought that was going to come together, and like, I don't know, there'd be some. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Man. Sorry.
No, but I thought there would be some kind of. I was like, well, is there going to be some kind of dynamic or statement about like somebody who's in power because they've been elected to power, and then like what happens when the shit hits the fan, and how do they interact with people now, and does he become a person again, and you know, like there was a lot of interesting things that he could have done with that character as the president, but what he decided to do was.
Well, he lived on a fucking mountain where there was an old bunker, I guess.
Thank God the plane crashed.
Oh, yeah.
Right where the bunker.
Right next to the fucking bunker in a swamp. The plane crashed. The one no, there was like 3 survivors. I think there was, I don't know.
Something, yeah.
Some of them died. Mm-hmm. And the president was the last one left. And as the entire army is heading...
He's just been chilling there for fucking 7 years.
For fucking ever and doing nothing, right? And so again with the imagery, so they're passing by the debris, the remains of a plane. And I'm like, I hope this isn't the fucking plane we saw at the beginning of the book. But and I hope they fucking didn't make it alive. So they make it to the mountain, and there's a guy there. And
it's again, what he did with the writing, because the guy's there and he's God, and he even refers to him as God. God says, and then God instructs, and then God, and then God's presidential seal. Mind blown.
It's like,
oh, he snuck that in there on me.
Yeah, it's insane. And then he did that. Oh, sister catches a glint of something on his shirt cuffs, and I'm like, oh shit, please, no.
Yeah, it was though.
Do not fucking go there. You have. We were so close to greatness. Well, not greatness, because at this point nothing would be great, but like we could have had this
could have been a story about redemption for the fucking author to pull something out of his ass at
that. Exactly. Like this all out, I don't give a shit. It's been climbing. It's not been climbing. It's been simmering for like 650 pages. Like it's been slowly boiling, and it's almost at the boiling point, and now we can turn the fire up all the way and have some fun at the end. No, we had a half-crazed president with a bunker, with the access to like a network of satellites that can literally burn the crust off the planet.
Destroy the Earth. So
yeah,
they crash landed right next to the president's emergency destroy the whole fucking Earth bunker. Okay, but no shit, they crash land because it was a crash landing. It's not like they were indicating like they're circling over a certain area or anything. Like they were flying. They had some destination in mind, and luckily they crash landed right next to the destroy the Earth bunker that every president has, just in case something like this happens.
Yep.
And the president decided to sit there for 7 years and wait for God knows what, because obviously people had been there before. It's not like he was waiting for just anybody to fucking come along, because crazy guy met God and then ran back and told everybody and shit. So for some reason, though, this is the group that finally meets the president that he's like, hey, let me take you downstairs while I'm talking all crazy shit. Everybody else, just stand around for no fucking reason, because we all just want to see what this wacko has to say. Like everybody, the good guys, the fucking bad guys, the whole fucking crew's in the elevator with the president. And he's like, and we're going down and blah, 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 blah. And God, I wonder what he might be doing. It looks like he's entering in codes and passwords and stuff. And geez, I wonder what the crazy president's doing. He's talking about how he needs to like wipe the slate clean and everything. Everybody just stand around, not do shit. Sounds good. And then the fucking countdown begins.
Yeah, and they're locked. It's like Rorschach style, locked in there with this crazy fucker.
At which point, the most evil fucking character in the whole world, all of a sudden you find out he can fucking teleport. He's like, my work's done here. I'm out. And he just gets away. And you're like, motherfucker could teleport? When the fuck did this happen?
When it was, well, not relevant. When it was convenient to the plot, which is the way that everything happens in this book. Oh, and as they're going toward God, there's always mention of this, God has a silver box, and I'm like, it's got to be codes to like a rope, to like a last resort nuke, right? Like that's it. Please let it not be that, because if it is, we've been talking about it for 300 pages, and there's not going to be any surprise element to it. And that's what it was, which again was fucking stupid. So they get to the end, they're locked in there. Swan and sister are locked in with Mcallen and Roland. Bad guy, before zooming out, pushes Mcallen over the railing. Oh no, pushes the president over the railing because he's the only one who has the password for the for the doors to open, which open from the outside.
Something.
Yeah, some stupid shit, some stupid last minute thing to stop the countdown. And then Swan's...
meanwhile, the fucking glass tiara and Swan and the super evil bad guy, like it's all meaningless. Like
the glass, yeah, and they left the glass tiara in the fucking trailer. But they did, right?
I think, I don't know, because everything's so fucking meaningless and useless. Like you've been reading about all this shit, thinking there's going to be some kind of resolution amongst that. And it's like, oh, no. You remember the president that I talked about in the first 10 pages? Like, everything's just going to come down to this fucking guy. Oh, okay. What a twist.
And he was the guy that was tortured about doing the bad shit in the beginning, now basically has no problem with doing the worst shit, the end of all bad shit in the end. Yeah. That's his arc, right?
He's crazy now. You know how I know?
Oh.
They told me.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, you'd be crazy too after you crash landed right next to your fucking end of the world.
You've been sitting there for like 7 years looking at the nuclear launch codes, going, should I just end it all? 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 Should I just end it all?
I'm surprised. What the fuck has he been eating? Was that thing like really? Because we only get to see the control room for the launch, right?
Yeah.
There are no supplies. There's nothing. Like this guy's been there for 7 years. Why did we not get his backstory? Why did we not get his point of view? That's what I want to know. I mean, this book could have been 1,000 pages easy.
Because he's God.
Oh, okay.
And you can't know God like that.
Yeah. That's I find that answer vague and unconvincing.
So you have like a stereotypical fucking horrible made for TV movie fucking sequence where the fucking countdown is going, and okay, are they going to be able to stop it? Is it? And it's counting down. We're at 3, and oh god, the drama is building up, and you're just praying for it to get to 1, and nobody fucking stop this shit from
exactly.
happening.
Just let it let it blow up. Let it blow up.
But of course, right before 1, everybody waits to see if it's gonna hit 0. But no, they did it. They saved the Earth that's been destroyed.
And now it's time to rebuild, and then everything has been building.
Okay, so real quick, now it's time to rebuild for fucking 700 pages or 900 pages. You've been reading about all this stuff. And really quick to sum up, Josh is going to leave. He goes, finds his wife and his kids. Turns out they were alive the whole time. Yay, honey. Isn't this great?
No. He doesn't find his wife and kids. He goes back to Mary's Rest.
No, I thought he found his wife and kids.
No. He goes back to Mary's Rest.
Okay, what did I miss then? Because by the end, I was just like, what the fuck?
No, because so they take like a big truck, and they drive it until it runs out of fuel. Sister died protecting Swan naturally, and they run out of fuel. They come by this random farmer's house, and Josh tells Swan that she's going to have to start the rebuilding process somewhere. And why not there? Because, well, you know, it's a random spot. Like, why go all the way back to fucking Mary's Rest where we started going in the first place? Well, when you can just start here again, and maybe we can meet later. Sorry, what?
It was the place worth dying for.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this place that it's the one place you got attached to, apart from the back of that fucking wagon we've been lugging you and your big head around for 7 years, you know, with the cowboy clown that died with the double-headed lynx. No, wait, he burned alive with the devil dude. I'm messing things up. This is how convoluted everything is right now. So she stops there, and he keeps going, and he gets to Mary's Rest, where there's this sapling that was left alive by the marauding forces of Colonel Mcallen, because he told everyone to grab everything, grab all the supplies from there. But they missed the fucking sapling. And the sapling's basically, you know, it's going to be fine. And he goes and coops up with the woman and her child, the only other black woman in the book.
Is that what happened?
He does not go for his wife and kids 1 fucking second.
So when I was skimming the end, because apparently that's what I did, when he hooked up with the woman and the child, I just assumed that he finally went to go look for his kids.
No, he didn't. He just went back to Mary's Rest, which was the one place that he knew was sort of kind of maybe okay in the entire world.
Point does he ever fucking even
no
kid?
He does not.
Oh my god!
So
worse than I thought.
I'm not a father, right? But I'm a husband, and I love my wife, and I'd like to think that in this situation, that would be my first goal. Like, I wouldn't, like, fine, all right, I get out of the hole in the ground where there lived a hobbit, and I start going across what's left of the world. I'm not going to follow a random little girl wherever she was going, like that direction. I'm gonna go, no, okay, I'm the adult. You're gonna come with me. We're gonna try and make this work, but there's something really important we have to do right now, and something I have to find out, because if I don't, it's gonna eat me up inside. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Like, that's my chain of thought behind that. Now, I'm not sure if this was made clear that he was at peace with it or what the hell happened, but it, like, up until the end, he just thinks about them once or twice, and then he hopes they went peacefully, and that's it. And I just, that's a big no. That's a big no to me. Tim here says that Satan equals Voldemort and the Swan is Harry Potter.
Yeah, I just fucking, I just reread that. I assumed that that was him walking up to his fucking wife and his wife or his ex-wife and like his kid, but no, he went back to fucking.
No, he basically did the same. A similar thing to the guy with the dead wife, who just picked up a random woman and made her his wife.
Because that's how it works.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah.
I was really hoping. I don't know what you're on the fence about.
I'm on the fence about. There was like half the book was. Sorry?
That's being generous.
All right. Yeah, it might be less than half the book. Like I was completely in love with that. I don't know, a third or something. Mm-hmm. I was fine with the slow ramp. I'm a fan of stories that don't hit you over the head with everything from the get go.
And he was stories that go nowhere as long as they have something to say and it's thing.
And I was thinking, just going through it, I was wondering whether this would work any better as a multiple season adaptation by, I don't fucking know, HBO or Netflix or something. Yeah. Probably a better story in that, and they would have
because they'd hire writers and then they'd probably do something to make it interesting.
They'd fucking adapt shit and they would give them some art. They would actually hire writers, yeah, and they would give these characters something to keep you interesting past the introduction, which was the high point. Yeah. Like I kept reading and I kept wanting to go back to that, and I guess there were moments that were interesting and ideas that were interesting, like Roland becoming Hitler's right-hand man with the torture trailer. Come on, the torture trailer has to be like one of those Jackass rip-off shows on MTV. Like, it's got potential. There was wasted potential for copywriting all over this fucking book. It's insane. Yeah, Mcallen being this tortured vet struggling to, reach the heights of whatever delusions of grandeur he had, and then he just gets whipped, and nothing comes of that either. It's just wasted hook after wasted hook after wasted hook, and every hook that was out there gave me hope that there would eventually be a payoff, and I think that's the feeling I was left with at the end. I really wanted everything to work out in a way that I would say, all right, there's 600 to 700 pages of shit, but it's really worth it for this and then this bit at the end.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
This is, and I don't know, I just have a feeling that this book, if I would have read this book in middle school, mm-hmm. if I would have read this book as a child, it probably would have been, they probably would have made a better impression on me, I guess. Like, I can see where, like, maybe somebody who read this a long time ago, I know Jolene really loves this book. I don't know how long ago she read it, and if she's given it a reread since she's been able to do, like, logical and critical thinking. And, maybe she read it when she was really young or something, and that's where this, like, passion and love for the book comes from, I hope.
Well, she's listening, so if she's been listening along, so if she's still here,
I would love to know, like, what it is about this book that is good.
We've got Drifter427 here saying, describe it in 3 words. I went with cover is pretty. Oh yeah, so Jolene says she was 12 when she read it.
Okay, so, there we go. That makes a lot of sense. And if I read this when I was 12, I haven't gone back and I used to love the R.A. Salvador Drizzt novels and stuff like that. That's some of my favorite stuff, but I also haven't read that since I was very young. So I don't know. Like, if I picked those books up and started reading them now, I might be like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't as good as I remember it being. But this book is shit. This book is a big steamy pile of dog shit, and I hate that I had to read it.
I'm sorry. She says she's read it about 15 times since as well.
Huh.
So that's 14 times too many for me. Like 14 and a half. Yeah, maybe 15. Eventually I'm probably gonna come back to this, see what's in there that I missed, and I'm really hoping I'm gonna post this in the group as well, and have it work as a starting off point for a bigger talk, because we have Cameron wasn't here, Yvonne wasn't here, because they both read it as well, I think. I'm really looking forward to what Jolene has to say about it.
Yeah, I was looking
she's furiously typing away at me right now. She says we're hilarious and that she can agree with a lot of our points. And now there's a long, like, 3-dot snake at the bottom of the screen. It's going on.
However,
let me tell you why you were wrong in 8,000 words or less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but so yeah, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry we had it up. I'm not sorry we had it. I'm not sorry it won out and we got to read it. We got to have this chat about it, which was pretty fun, I thought.
It's never a waste of time, especially, for me. I actually learned a lot by reading this book about things that I shouldn't do when
writing a book.
When you're writing a book, which for me is kind of useful. Like there were things that I'm glad I read it. I really am. I think it's a horrible piece of shit, but I do feel like my life is better for having read it, because I had to really sit down and be like, why was this so awful? Like, I really had to spend some time thinking about, like, what is it that I really didn't like about the book? And the biggest things for me were the author's inability to write anything through inference. Like, it was all just spelled out in black and white. The characters, with all the time that he put into their starting point and kind of a backstory to make them interesting, he then did nothing with any of those things. He did nothing with their backstory. He did nothing to change them. They didn't evolve. They're the same on page 1 as they are on page 900. And then just, it being really just silly, which I can even handle silly as long as they're saying something. As long as there's something being said, I can handle silliness. Like Princess Bride. I know this is a movie. It's one of the silliest movies ever made, and I fucking because there's so many things that are said in that movie that give the silliness like a certain kind of depth to it.
And Princess Bride has relies on the actors, it relies on the performances, it relies on the one-liners. There are many, many iconic things about it. I think he was trying to, like, apart from everything you've said, which I agree with, I think he was relying too much on the idea of a post-nuclear wasteland and having this fucking dreary chain of events carry everything forward. Like, he was putting a lot of faith in the action and not the characters, like the stuff that goes on and the set pieces themselves. Like, I don't know, them being attacked by wolves and the eventual face-off with God and the spark of hope where Swan gets her magic hokey on and just sprouts corn overnight. Just all of these bits and pieces that were peppered throughout the book and that could have been great if they were also tied to a strong cast of characters, which it didn't have. It also had some interesting lines that I don't remember right now, and my Kindle's dead. Right at the beginning, like, it had these interesting ways of presenting things.
The sand line. You had some line about how sand eventually becomes glass. Like, sand's the most boring shit in the.
Oh yeah. When
worked right, it becomes glass or beautiful. Or
yeah.
He had a couple. Yeah, there were a couple good lines, but a couple good lines does not a 900-page fucking novel make.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. Jolene says that she agrees that there are junior writing skills involved here. But it's still worth the read if you look through the apocalyptic lens of the end of the 80s. So as you've said, it being written back then, probably had a different impact.
That really does change the way I look at the book, because I would, like you, I was under the assumption that this was written in like 2010.
Recently, yeah.
So the fact that it was written in the 80s does give me a little bit less of a, I don't think as little of the author as I, I'm going to notch it up just to,
Yeah, just, not dirt gray. Yeah, and, she also underlines that it's basically tied really strongly in with the Bible, which, yeah, we know.
Really?
Like, we kind of caught that. It was hard to miss. All right, so I'm gonna post this in the group, and we can. I'm sure we'll come up with more things. And after my Kindle pops up, I'll drop the lines that I was talking about as well. And so, Scott, thanks for joining me here tonight. Thanks to the couple people that were watching. We had a weaker showing than last time around. I think it's picking up, actually. I don't know what time it is over there. It's getting nighttime over here. It's like 8:30. Right. So, anything else you'd like to add?
No.
I think
I've said enough.
I think we're going to see a lot more of you and the Divers boys. Tim is here with us, and Jay, as we start working together more on Nexus and related stuff. I don't want to spoil anything because I don't know how much is out there already, but really looking forward to that. And we're going to have Metro 2033 for next month, which is an interesting book, and it inspired some games. It's a short book. it's like under 300 pages as far as I remember. I'm gonna go pick it up over the next couple of days. I've wanted a physical version of it for a long time, so I'm just gonna go out and get it. It's hopefully I read most of it a long time ago, so I'm hoping this will be a better read than
it can't be worse. I mean, it can't.
As a brown coat, I really hated the Firefly book more, like the one we had the month
I didn't
before.
read it because you had already telegraphed that, and I was like, okay, because I was.
Yeah, I know. I was really keen on reading it, and I cheated with that. I started early.
Yeah.
And it was just awful. And eventually I gave it a 5 because, again, it was redeemed by the end. But that book really got me furious over several things. Like, this had some spikes of anger here and there. But overall, and that's why I went with a half and half, I didn't feel as angry by the end. Just, okay, it was over. Now we can talk about it and move on.
Yeah, like Tim said, like we went to lunch one day. I think I had like 200 pages of the book left, and I just went fucking off on it. Like for the entire time we were eating lunch, I had a table of like 5 people. They had no idea what I was even like referring to, and I was like, "But just listen," and they were just like kind of eye rolling, like, "Okay, yeah, this does sound really bad. Why don't you stop reading it?" And I'm like, I can't stop reading it. I have to finish it. It's like fucking homework.
That was my wife with Firefly. I kept going, I can't believe how bad this is. I can't believe how wrong they're getting everything. How could you fuck up a Firefly book when you've been doing so great with the comics all these years? And then I came across the ongoing comic run, which is even worse. Like, if it's possible, it's even worse than Swan Song and the Firefly book combined.
There's only one. Hold on for a second, because this is cool.
Yeah. I'm lifting.
I've never watched or read anything like outside of Firefly and then the Serenity movie.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I had a friend who got me this.
Oh, yeah.
This is excellent.
That is my favorite bit of Firefly Expanded Universe content and the best that Firefly has ever come up with.
Yeah.
This
was my character. That was probably my biggest thing that I was upset about. Like I really wanted to learn more about the shepherd. Yes.
There we go.
Yeah, mine's in better condition.
Yeah, that's Amazon.
Why don't you send it back?
It's a long story, but I tried sending it back, and then apparently they sent 2 replacements, and none of them made it. So I don't know, and I just kept it, and I didn't want to fix it because I don't know, there was something about it making it to me in this condition. Yeah, exactly. So I just kept it this way, and I have every other hardback up to No Power in the Verse, and I think I'm gonna stop at that because the current run. We'll talk about it. I'm sure I'll do a quick review on it because there's some dumb shit happening in that one, like really powerful dumb shit. All right, so we've been jabbering on for like almost 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours. It's almost as long as that fucking book.
We should probably stop. All right. Well, Scott, thanks again for being here tonight. I'm sorry Jolene couldn't make it, but maybe we can sync up the time zones for next time. And all right. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for listening along. Thanks Tim for being here. And yeah, I think that's about it.
All right. Later. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. Pleasure, man. See you.
Later.